Welcome back to another video. I reached 500 subscribers this week, so thank you to everyone that subscribed, and welcome to everyone that's new. I thought I'd celebrate with a Q&A, so we're going to start this off with the kitchen. I went through some of the questions you've asked in the past and through the post on my community page in the last video where I asked for some questions. And one of the things people comment about was the kitchen, so it's just an IKEA kitchen. This is actually the second iteration. When I bought my house over 20 years ago now, I put my first kitchen in with gloss black cabinet doors, and then must have been like what 13, 14 years ago now when I built an extension on the back here that I redid the kitchen because over there I have now a laundry room slash mud room slash pantry, and it's kind of an extension of the kitchen here, so I want everything to match. So I just reused all the cabinets and added a few more. I had to buy new doors because they discontinued the line that I had, so I switched to these matte black ones. So and the people comment on the bricks. Those are just from AliExpress. They're basically like 3D foam stickers, like very large ones that you just cut to size. So I thought that would just be a nice pop of color against the black and white. So, and then yeah, one of the things I did when I redid the kitchen, I moved my stove from over here to over here on the peninsula here. I moved that because when I moved out, my parents and my brother would come over for dinner every other week, and Christmas and Easter and big meals like that would be here because I was always the one cooking. So right behind you is my dining room table. Here in between my dining room table and the peninsula here. So I had my stove here so I can still interact with everyone while I was getting things ready. So, and when I started doing these YouTube videos, that was perfect for putting my camera as well. So the only downside is my counter space ends here, which is a bit off camera, so my cutting board has to go on top of my stove, but that's not that big of a deal. It is actually perfect for when I do actual cooking, so yeah, that worked out nicely. Just a little bit of the layout here. I have a little galley-style kitchen, and this peninsula over there is my dining room, like I said, and over to that side is my living room. And right behind this wall here is the hallway with the front door, the downstairs toilet, and the stairs to upstairs. And over there I have my laundry room slash mud room. That's the door I usually use to get in. So yeah, that's everything about my kitchen really. So people do seem to like the color, so great. And then someone asked, what is my favorite kitchen gadget? That has to be my Ninja Foodi. You've seen me use it so many times. I use it almost every day. I actually use it so often that I bought two. After the first one, I had tried it out for a few months, and especially with my Sunday prep days when I do a lot of prep things at the same time, I just got a second one. So if you ever think about getting one, you probably should. I've rarely used my oven since. I actually air fry or grill a lot of my meat instead of using a pan. I use a lot less fat, so great appliance. And then about potential new gadgets, I've been looking at the Ninja Woodfire to get into like smoking. I know it's not like proper smoking, but to get into that would be actually perfect. But I kind of have a habit of buying gadgets and then not using them, so that's why I've been holding off on that. I've had so many gadgets. Like when I was still eating bread, I had like not one bread maker but two because I bought a first one, and because I just lived by myself, like a whole loaf of bread would last too long. It would go bad before I got through all of it, so I bought a second bread maker with like two half loaves so I could make a smaller loaf at a time. I never end up using it because it's just cheaper and easier to just buy bread at the store. I had ice cream makers that I used literally once a year for Christmas, and then they would just take up valuable real estate in my freezer because I only have a small freezer. It's like 2.5 drawers, So when you put those big little containers in that you have to freeze before you use them, never had space for it. So I pared down a lot, and now I'm just kind of thinking like, how often am I gonna use it? So, I'm thinking about the wood fire, but I don't know yet. I'll have to decide first how often I'm actually gonna use it. My other gadgets, I do like my knives. You've seen me use these global knives all the time. They're an investment when I first bought them, but they've lasted me for like 20 years now. And I just like Japanese style knives in general because they're much harder and they keep their edge a lot longer. So if you're ever interested in new knives, I like some Japanese knives. And then I do like my graters, though I have far too many. I got the complete set, that's why you see all of them over there. But microplane, they are really good. The only thing, I bought the peeler and it's really nice and sharp, but I prefer like the Y shape, so I might get that instead of this one. It's just you know, an ergonomic thing, a preference. So another question you asked is about Dutch food and my favorite kind of food, that sort of thing. My favorite kind of food, well, mostly I'm just cooking for myself, so I just want something simple and quick. So I like things like just different kind of tortillas, or like rice bowls, noodle bowls, couscous bowls, just something that versatile, quick to put together, looks nice, tastes nice, and you can just experiment with, do a bunch of different things. So that's kind of my favorite food. And as for Dutch food is really like to the point. So most of it revolves around what we call AGV, aardappelen, groente, vlees, or potatoes, vegetable, and meat. So I don't really eat a lot of potatoes, so you don't see me eat that very often. Sometimes some roasted potatoes or something. But yeah, Dutch food uses a lot of boiled potatoes. And you can either have all of those like separately on the plate, or what Dutch people also like to do is mash things together into what we call a stamppot. Stamp means to mash, pot means pot or dish. So it's where you take a vegetable and your boiled potatoes and you mash them together. Zuurkool stamppot is an example, with sauerkraut mashed with potatoes and usually served with like a smoked sausage. A lot of stamppot is served with smoked sausage or other sausages. Hutspot is a famous one, which is potatoes, carrots, and onions. Boerenkool stamppot, which boerenkool literally means farmer's cabbage, but you would know it as kale. Not a big fan of that one. I'll have stamppot every now and again. For instance, I like making one with like leeks and cheese. But yeah, I don't really eat that many potatoes. And when I go out, my favorite kind of food, kind of depends. I like a concept more than I care about the actual food. I like when you have like a bunch of different like dishes, like sharing platters to choose from, so you can just sample little bits of everything. An example of this would be a rijsttafel, which is very popular in the Netherlands. It's kind of a hybrid Indonesian Dutch thing. If you don't know, Indonesia used to be a Dutch colony, and Indonesia has such a wide variety of regional dishes. So when the Dutch moved over there for business and everything, when they entertained their guests, they would have their chefs prepare different dishes from all over Indonesia, all the different islands, and then serve it as like a buffet, a smorgasbord kind of thing, where everyone could see the vast expanse of the Indonesian islands and try all the different things. So the dishes are Indonesian, how it's presented is Dutch. So if you go to the Netherlands, you should definitely go try out a rijsttafel. Other things I like is, even just going to, when I went to Nando's when I went to the UK, get like sharing platter where you have like the different kinds of chicken. I just like having like smaller platters. And yeah, I think that's it for this segment. I think for the next segment, I'm just gonna take you outside. I haven't been here in a while, so they actually moved the bench that I was gonna sit down on. But yeah, I'm right behind my parents' house here, the house I grew up in. Both my parents have passed away, so there's no any privacy concern showing the house. Someone else lives there now. But yeah, one of the questions I get asked, when and why did you move to the Netherlands? I didn't. I grew up here. I was born here. So I've lived here my entire life, not just in the Netherlands. I've lived in this city my entire life, and in fact, I've lived in 3 houses my entire life. The first few months of my life was in a house less than a kilometer, so half a mile that way, and now I just live about 300 yards from here. So I didn't even move that far. And no, I did not grow up in an English-speaking household. My parents were just Dutch from Amsterdam, like I've mentioned before. This where I live, Lelystad, is built on an island, Flevoland, new province that was created from basically the sea. So this is all reclaimed land. My parents are originally from Amsterdam, but back in the 70s when they got married, there was a severe housing shortage in Amsterdam, and this was built to kind of soften that and just have a bunch of housing. There was nothing here when my parents moved. Technically, I was not born here, even though I've lived here my entire life. I was born on the mainland in Harderwijk, just because that's where the hospital was. The hospital here was still being built. If you see my grocery shopping videos, where I usually go to Plus, that shop is several iterations in, but when my parents moved here, that was still in a wooden shack as a temporary building, and downtown was also still being built, so there was literally nothing here when my parents moved here. So, but yeah, I've lived here my entire life, grew up speaking Dutch. English is my second language, and yeah, I just speak it a lot, that's why I don't have that strong of an accent. What else? I also speak a little bit of German, but not nearly as fluent as my English or Dutch. And I only speak a little bit of French. As every Dutchman, I've had English, Dutch, German and French in school, but German and French I don't use very often. So ik spreek Nederlands vloeiend, want dat is mijn moedertaal. Obviously I speak English. Ich spreche ein klein bisschen Deutsch, aber nicht sehr viel. And je ne parle pas français, mais un petit peu. So, I think that's it for here. Also starting to rain, so let's go back inside for the next segment. Welcome to my home office slash home gym. I have all my weights and bench and everything over there. This is where I edit my videos, and also when I'm working from home, this is where I do that. I have my sit-stand desk here. I try to always go between sitting and standing regularly, so I'm not sitting still for too long. And while I'm here, I thought I would talk about gear. So I'm shooting this video on my DJI Osmo Action 4, which has been my main camera for over a year now. Before that, I had the Action 2, and my very first videos were shot with the original Osmo Action. So yeah, they're all action cameras. Why? Because it's what I had. I bought this camera, the original Osmo Action, before I even thought about doing videos for YouTube, because I was working about 8 kilometers, 5 miles away, and I would cycle there every day, so I thought it would be fun to do like a daily commute video, and I got this because it was relatively inexpensive, and it has like the image stabilization built in, and it's nice and compact, so that was perfect for mounting on my bike. So when I started doing videos, this is what I had, so that's what I started using. And then I eventually upgraded to the 2, and I paired that with the DJI mic. You see me wearing it over here, just to up the audio quality. The image was definitely good enough on the original one, but the second one I could connect my microphone to, so that was better quality audio-wise. So, and then eventually I just switched over to the 4 that I'm using now. Like I said, I use the DJI mic with that. So, do I plan on getting like a bigger camera? Not really. I definitely need an action camera for some videos, like when I'm out and about doing my grocery shopping videos. 1, it's a lot smaller and compact. 2, it's waterproof, so when it rains, I can still use it. 3, this is much more discreet than having like a big DSLR trying to film myself. I don't need to draw that attention to myself, so I'll always have at least an action camera for those kind of things, and since I have that, the quality is good enough, like more than good enough for everything else as well, so I just use that. So I am thinking about upgrading to the Action 5 and the Mic 2, but that's mainly two issues. One has to do with overheating, and that's not a fault from the camera. It's just I'm not using it as intended when I do my static shots, because normally an action camera is for action where there's lots of airflow that cools it down. When I have it static in my dining room with little airflow, and especially in the summer, I get like 30 to 40 minutes before it overheats and shuts down, and I have to let it cool down for a few minutes if I want to finish. And that always seems to happen like just 1 or 2 minutes before I finish everything, and it's really annoying. So the newer one should last a bit longer. And two, for those that have been around for a while, you might have noticed some audio issues, because on this camera, with the original mic, not the Mic 2, I have to have a little receiver plugged into the side of my camera, but because it's designed for both USB-C and Lightning, there's a little adapter that you plug on, and there's just a little bit of play in there. So when I would put my camera in and out of my pocket when I was out and about filming, it would like misalign slightly and my audio would get ruined. So I pay more attention to that now, but with the Mic 2, you can connect wirelessly to the camera directly, so you don't need the receiver. So that would be nice. And with the Action 4 that I have now, you can pair one of those transmitters wirelessly. And with the 5, you can do both, because I have two of these for stereo, so I prefer that. But I'm not changing anytime soon. I don't make any money off this channel. I don't know if I ever will. So, you know, upgrades are not the highest priority. So, but if I do ever make money, I'll probably spend that on a newer camera. I've also been looking at the Pocket 3, which is like a little gimbal stabilized camera, which is even smaller, so that's also nice, just not waterproof. But yeah, that's all for if and when I make money, which I don't know if I ever will. Not really the main goal of this channel. And then for filming, I usually use natural daylight. It's just when it's overcast or dark days, like now in winter. I have a little light that I have on a stand. I have two of them, just to illuminate me a little bit. And on really overcast days or rainy days, I have these smaller lights too that I just put on my countertop. So they're really nothing special. They're just cheap LED lights that do go like daylight. So I can adjust the color temperature, and I have them on the daylight range. So that's that. And then people have asked about my laptop, what I edit on. So I have my Framework 16, which I love. I can upgrade lots of parts of this, and it's nice and powerful. I got the Ryzen 7 7840HS, so not the top spec for a processor, but still pretty decent. Because mainly with editing, you don't need the CPU that much, the processor, you need the GPU. So I have this with the built-in Radeon RX 7700S, so that definitely helps with the editing. Before I got this laptop earlier this year, I had my old laptop, and I couldn't even edit in 4K, so I only did 1080p, and for every minute of video, it took like 2 minutes to export. So my 20-minute videos, my Sunday prep day videos, would take like 40-45 minutes sometimes, and that's in 1080p. And now I edit and export in 4K, and that same 20-minute video gets done in like 13 minutes or something like that. So you can definitely tell there's some extra horsepower here. And then for software, I started out using OpenShot Video Editor because it's free, but I ran into some issues with that. So like a year, 2 years ago, I switched to DaVinci Resolve, and that's what I've been using ever since. Also free. I don't use most of the features that it offers. It's far more complicated than I need because my editing style is pretty simple. Like for instance, only recently starting to add like text when I have like Dutch words and stuff on the screen. So I'm still learning a lot with editing. But yeah, DaVinci does me well. So, anything else? I'll do one more short segment, but I think I'm going to wait until it stops raining and I'll take you outside and we'll talk a little bit about health. But we'll just see how much I get into it just because it can get kind of boring. So if you're interested in health and diabetes, stick around. And otherwise, yeah, don't blame you if you leave. So yeah, let's cut to the health stuff. Well, it doesn't look like the rain is stopping anytime soon, so we'll just do this segment from my living room. And again, my kitchen is right over there. That's what you usually see in my videos. So yeah, health. As you know, I'm diabetic. I've managed to stave off insulin. That's why a couple of years ago I switched to low-carb lunches because I don't want to go on insulin. My dad has been on insulin, and yeah, you so much have to watch what you eat, when you eat. Once you get on insulin, it's really hard to get off. So I've been doing everything to avoid that, and I've been successful with that. There's just one, it's not a big issue, but over the years, my blood sugar has just gone up, and then it goes down, and then it goes up, then it goes down. Like it's like a yo-yo effect, always within like limits, so it's not ever like dangerously high or dangerously low or anything like that. It's just we keep having to adjust the doses of my medication and what medication I take to keep me within that spread. And compounding that is I'm relatively stable with my weight, but then I will randomly drop a couple of kilograms or a couple of pounds, and and then it will slowly come back on, and I'll go back to my standard weight, which it should not be doing. Like my weight and my blood sugar should be very consistent because I'm very consistent. I always eat very consistent. I exercise very consistent. Like when I'm recording this, I'm 5 days away from reaching 2,000 days where I do 10,000 steps at least every single day. So that's a nice long streak. I plan on keeping that up. So yeah, it should be very stable. And as for weight loss, recently I lost like 5 kilograms or about 10 pounds just randomly. 4 years ago, I dropped almost 20 kilograms, so about 40 pounds, just randomly. In fact, when I drop weight, I'm actually more hungry and I eat more, but then I still lose weight. So that's one thing that I'm trying to figure out, and it's going to be a very long story, and in the conclusion is going to be like, we don't know yet, but I'll just tell it anyway for those that are interested. So as with most diabetics, I started out with metformin. I've been on that for many years. Like I've been a diabetic for like 10 years now, and pre-diabetic sometime before that. It runs in the family. My dad was diabetic. My grandma from my mother's side was diabetic. More people in my family have been. So it runs in the family. I am overweight. Let's address the elephant in the room. So that's also a risk. But yeah, so I started with metformin, and then when it started trending up, we added some glycoside, which I don't think you get prescribed very often in the US, but it's common in Europe, and it's a different kind of diabetes medication. And then it was stable, and then it slowly went down a bit. Then it was getting a bit at the lower threshold of the spread you want, so we took the glycoside off, and then we went back up, so we increased the metformin, and then it still kept going up, so we went back on the glycoside, and then it would start trending down again, so we took some of the metformin off, and then we took the glycoside off, and that's just the theme over the years, just trying to dial that in. And to the point where I ask my GP where I go every like a couple times a year to get my blood work done and everything like that. I said, you know what, I would like to actually look at the cause why my blood sugar is going up and down, instead of just treating the symptoms with more or less medication. So a couple of months ago now, I got a referral to see an internal medicine specialist, and yeah, we're still trying to figure out what's causing it. So far, I've only had the 3 appointments, one of which was just an intake. So one of the things they do, it's kind of the standard now when diabetics come in there, they start them on some kind of GLP-1. I'm started Rybelsus, which I did not really want to go on. For you, those that don't know what Rybelsus is, it's kind of like the tablet version, unlike something like Ozempic, which you inject, because so many people abuse diabetes medication for weight loss that it's really hard to come by, and the tablets have a better availability. So that's better to get started on because it takes a while to get dialed in and everything, so you don't want to change it. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't too keen on starting on it because like losing weight through medication just feels like cheating. Even though I've tried many diets and it's never worked, I've lost more weight just randomly than I ever did on a diet. But yeah, I needn't have worried about cheating because for me it's doing absolutely nothing. To give you an idea, I said earlier that I lost about 5 kilograms recently. That was in the month between the intake and when I actually took my first pill, because they first had to decide the course of action and everything. That took a month. In that month, I lost 5 kilograms. Then I started taking the medication. I have not lost anything since. It's supposed to curb your appetite. It's not doing that at all. I've never been like a breakfast person. I hardly ever eat breakfast because I'm usually just not hungry in the morning. But since I started on the medication, I've actually been more hungry. And it did lower my blood sugar slightly. My HbA1c, like the protein that they measure your average blood sugar over the past couple of weeks with, for those that don't know, it went down slightly, but that can be easily attributed to the fact that I lost 5 kilograms. The lower your body weight, the lower your blood sugar in general. So yeah, it's done absolutely nothing for me. And yeah, I'm still on it for now while we explore some other avenues, what it could be, because it's kind of like a no harm, no foul kind of thing, because these GLP-1s, these new medications are super effective in most people, so it's kind of like they'd rather put you on that first before they see any other things. But yeah, it's not really working for me. We're still figuring things out, like recently I've gotten some blood work done for some genetic testing to maybe see if I have a somewhat rare form of diabetes, like MODY. MODY is mature onset of diabetes of the young. So we're looking into that, or at least rule that out. It could also be related to my thyroid, for example. They don't really know yet. So we're still working on that. That's why I said at the start, like, it's going to be a long story with no conclusion. We're still working on it. And also, yeah, if you're worried for me, you don't need to be, because we're still within that acceptable spread and everything. It's just I want to work on treating causes, not symptoms. So if we do find out what's causing my blood sugar to trend up and down, that would be great. If not, we'll just go back to treating the symptoms, really. So anything else about that? Not really. The main thing for me is I don't want to go on insulin ever, because here's the thing, like, you have to be so careful with what you eat, when you eat, all of that. And also basically, for those that don't know, with diabetes, I have type 2, or mostly type 2. Like, we're still waiting on the MODY stuff. But with type 1, your body just doesn't make enough insulin, so you kind of have to take insulin. There's no other way. Insulin, if you're not familiar with diabetes, is what tells your cells in your body to actually take up and use the glucose, the blood sugar. So with type 1, your body just does not produce that hormone that tells your body to do something with the glucose, so you need to inject insulin. With type 2, your body gets insensitive to insulin. So in order to whip your cells into shape, basically, you just have to get higher and higher doses of insulin. Or what some medication does is make your cells more susceptible, again, to the insulin, make it respond more. So that's what take metformin and glycoside. One of them slows down the release of glucose from your liver, and the other one will signal your cells to kind of be more sensitive to the insulin. So when you start taking insulin, you just get higher doses of insulin, which makes your cells less responsive to them. So you'll need higher and higher dose of insulin, which makes your cells less responsive. So you need higher and higher doses of insulin. And it's just an endless cycle to the point where just injecting so much insulin, your body can't take it anymore. So I want to stay off insulin as long as possible, which I'm able to do with mostly diet. So, anything else? Yeah, we'll just see how things go, really. And if you do have any questions about diabetes, you can always ask. And if I have any updates I can give you, I'll do that at some point, probably during a Sunday prep day video, because those are like just my talky, chill out like kind of videos where I talk about random stuff. So, but yeah, I don't expect to know anything anytime soon because tests take a long time and we don't really know even exactly what we're looking for, so that takes time as well. So, but yeah, if you're still here watching, I'd like to thank you for watching and sticking with me. And again, welcome to all the new subscribers, and thank you for everyone that has subscribed in the past. I plan on keep making videos for a long time. So thank you for your time, thank you for watching, and until next time, bye for now.